Welcome to the Warren Cycling Podcast. My name is Dean Warren. I'm in Sarasota, Florida.
And I'm Randy Warren, and I'm in Asheville, North Carolina.
It's going to be kind of a little routine that we start the podcast and you reach up and turn the light on to shine on you. It's kind of like
my supplemental light's doesn't have a huge battery power, so if it goes very long, it'll die out. So I don't turn it on until right before we get live. It happens at meetings too. I'm on usually the meetings. I'll dull my screen first, and then I'll turn it back and turn it on. So
yeah, well, welcome to the podcast. Today is the oh man, I didn't even look at the date.
19th.
19th. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I should know. My schedule came out today for work. 19th of August, 2024, episode 363 of the Warren Cycling Podcast. So we're just this podcast, 2 more till we have 365, which will allow you to watch or listen one a day for a whole year.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're also recording, putting this on YouTube now. And last time we talked, we were talking about the time we were together in Paris for the Olympics, and the Olympics have passed now. The Tour de France Femmes has passed. It's only been not even 2 weeks, but there's been a lot going on. And now the Vuelta España has started, and I was at the individual time trial on Saturday in Lisbon. So, and you told me before you were watching like several races that were finishing up on Sunday.
Well, it's finishing up or just on like the Vuelta just started.
Yeah.
I think like five races on Sunday.
Yeah, well, there was the Tour of Poland, the Tour of Denmark, the Tour de France Femmes. Avenir was not starting yet, was it?
Yeah,
it started yesterday.
Yeah, I think that the time trial.
Oh yeah, yesterday. Yeah.
What's today? Monday.
Today's Monday. Yeah, yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, so a lot going on. There's some more racing coming up.
And I was busy all day
too,
so I didn't get to actually watch until the end of the day, and then I just, and luckily, Flow Bikes had everything on through Canada, through VPN through Canada, so I could watch the, a little bit of each race. So except for the women's Tour de France, though, the Tour de France Femmes, Zwift, whoever I watched a lot of that one for like 50 before Demi Vollering attacked, like 54K.
Well, that's probably the most exciting race of the year so far, right?
That was good for sure. So
yeah. Pretty amazing. Amazing. Well, yeah, I was thinking about it because Demi Vollering, probably the best all-round rider, best climber, the one that would be favored to win, had just that unfortunate crash, which took a while to get on the bike, and then the team dynamic, the tactics, the radio's not working. It just fell apart for them, where she didn't get help. So she shed a lot of seconds there, and she would have needed just a few of those back to have won the overall because she put in a great effort. But then just everything that happened with Ellen van Dijk on track, helping out Niewiadoma on the flat part in a way, not purposely helping her, but helping out because of her teammate and trying.
I don't think it was Ellen though, was it? Wasn't it?
She was motoring. She was keeping that pace up good, but I think
between the Guangdong and Alpe
d'Huez, yeah.
I think it was someone else. I think it was Van Dijk. It was someone. But anyway, yeah. But there was So I don't think we know the women as much as we know the men sometimes in interviews and that kind of stuff. And Demi Vollering, I've heard her have some interviews where she's kind of bitter about stuff even before this,
Oh yeah, the team. Well, last year at the Vuelta España Femmes, she was taking a nature break and she got attacked by Annemiek van Vleuten, and she didn't get a lot of help, I don't think, coming back for that race either. So she's been, not for being such a great rider, she hasn't had a lot of support, it seems, from her teammates. Yeah.
And it just seemed like she was grasping it, and any possible reason why too, like she didn't end up winning. And she blamed the crash happened too. But it was interesting because Niewiadoma was saying, "Well, I got caught behind this crash at the Olympics, and she felt great then." And she goes, "So that crash, I got that crash, was at my detriment, but then this crash was at my benefit." She goes, "So sometimes the crashes go your way, sometimes you don't." So it's like, it's not always there's just those things happen.
Well, that's bike racing, which everybody
Yeah.
always say that's bike racing. Things
Right.
can happen.
But Demi Vollering was more like saying, no, I should have won. Like all these things happen against me. Like, and she listed them off at one article I was reading, like 5 things. If any one of these 5 things wouldn't have gone wrong, I would have won. And she was, and obviously it stings for sure. But she seemed like she was expressing her bitterness more than. And I was actually a little surprised that she celebrated so much winning the stage in Alpe d'Huez, which is great.
Yeah.
It's a huge victory. Yeah. So it's good that she did celebrate it. But just from the attitude I felt from her, I felt like unless she won the overall, she would feel like that it was a failure. And then that's kind of what
at the point she won and celebrated that stage, she could have thought maybe I've won the overall because she didn't know how far back Niewiadoma was.
Yeah, I think that in the post-race interviews, it did come out more like the really she almost discounted her win on Alpe d'Huez and wasn't that important. Overall was what was important. But yeah.
Yeah, well, but it
was
just
super exciting though. It was
What I thought about though, it kind of shows that when you get injured in a crash and you're not 100%, that it does affect you. I mean, we've seen lots of races where racers, if they aren't, totally 100%, that they're not going to be at their top form and lose time like she did there. And I think I have two different connections with that. One, I was watching on a movie on a flight, The Last Rider, which was the story of Le Mans winning the '89 Tour just by 8 seconds. So it was twice as many seconds as Niewiadoma won this Tour de France Femmes. But that Fignon on that last time trial, he had some pain. He was not 100%. He was injured.
Saddles or
yeah, he did. So he was hurting. So he couldn't perform his very best there. And that gets me thinking though about Primož Roglič, who a late addition to start the Vuelta. So he's in good shape, and he showed it. He did a really good time trial, but he says his back's still bothering him some. So just those kind of pains could come back to his detriment and hold him back a little bit, maybe for performing his very best. So yeah, it's marginal gains they talk about, but also marginal losses too.
Yeah,
if you're not all the way 100%. So
yeah, I saw some comments on social media and stuff saying, "Oh, everybody knows Demi Vollering was the strongest rider," and it's true. But oftentimes the strongest rider doesn't win, So yeah. I think it was Lucinda Brand, not Ellen Van Dijk, who was pulling in between.
Lucinda Brand. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah. But that's I mean, I think I'm trying to think in the Giro one year. Someone, I don't know if it was Pantani. Somebody was ahead, and then American was behind, and they didn't get any help from.
Lucinda Brand. You're right.
Yeah, they didn't get any help from like the people around him, and then Pantani opened up this huge gap and won the stage, and ended up being decisive in the overall. And it was like, hey, I don't know, it wasn't Pantani. Oh, actually, anyway, but the situation was weird because like the people just didn't work together very well to help chase down the leader, and it's like, so sometimes it works in your favor, sometimes it doesn't. In this case, it happened to people wanted to help for their own. And the thing is, it was 8 stages too, so 7 days, 8 stages. Each stage, because the announcers I was listening to kept saying, "Why is like FDJ or why are they chasing? They're doing all this work, and it's like it doesn't make any sense." But they did have a rider who, maybe would do well. So and each stage was so important because there's only 8 of them.
Right.
So and there was only 2 mountain stages basically too. So if you're a mountain climber, you had 2 chances. So people were doing work that if in a longer, like 20, like, the Volta or the Tour or something has 20, 21 stages, they say, well, tomorrow's my better opportunity, or next day or next week or stage 18, or, so they wouldn't necessarily race the same. But this year, these riders had very limited opportunity. So, Lorena
Wiebe is her derailleur breaking on the first stage.
Yes. Well, I got hit by a rider. Yeah.
Yeah. So she lost that opportunity. I mean, SD Works. I mean, they had some bad things happen to him, didn't they?
Yeah.
So that opened up for Charlotte Kool to win, and she won again. So she showed that she, deserved to be up there. Wasn't?
Yes.
But she's a great sprinter. And then,
but she hadn't been sprinting well this year. She only had like 4 wins all year, and she had 24 last year or something like that. And there was something about her breathing they solved in the last 2 weeks, and all of a sudden now she can breathe again, and she sprinted much better. So, yeah, like you said, there's lots of stuff going on with people physically that you don't always know that are maybe the marginal losses too. So,
yeah.
but it was Puck Peters though. She had a great
Puck Peters, yeah,
race until the last day, and then she kind of fell off the.
Christian Faulkner too. But she kind of knew that the mountains were going to be difficult for her.
Yeah. But she was riding so well because that her form from the Olympics and everything, and then she was second place at one point, and so I guess she gave it everything she had, but she didn't expect to be as good as she was overall up until the end. I think what she ended up finishing too, she finished.
She dropped a lot.
Yeah. 38. Yeah. She dropped 14 spots the last day. So, but still, she had a great race. And actually, EF didn't have.
They wanted a stage win.
Yeah, EF didn't have anything. Which I think was the first EF rider overall was Kristen Faulkner, I think.
Yeah.
No. Here the first ones. Yeah. First one. So, they did not have a fantastic women's overall, at least. Yeah. So.
Yeah, but it just the start I think was great to have it in the Netherlands because the crowds were phenomenal, and I mean they're big all the way around. The atmosphere though, it just seems like it's the biggest women's race, Tour de France. I mean it started out just one day in Champs-Élysées, and they've added a couple days, and now they've got an 8-day stage race, but. It seems like it really took center stage as being like the most prestigious race on the calendar this year, and the fans and everyone showed out, and it just felt like it was really elevated to be that huge race that it should be.
Yeah, it was fun for me too because the last day when I did Haute Route Alps, we climbed the Madeleine first, but they didn't do that day. But we did the Glandon and then Alpe d'Huez. So that was the last 2 mountains we hit too. So it was fun for me to watch. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that lake there. I remember that village we went through. I remember just like in the Tour this year when they went through the highest paved road in France, we climbed that in the Haute Route Alps too as well too. So yeah, so it's just always fun to see those kinds of things too, and then just to know. Oh yeah, they're descending down to this lake, but there's a lot more descending still to come. There's a couple little steep pitches, and then you watch them go over the pitches, and you see them struggling and stuff too. So they're hitting all the iconic, climbs and stuff like that too that we've seen so much too. So it's nice. It's not like just saying, oh, those are reserved for the men's racing. Or now it's, it's for everybody. Everybody can do it. And actually, apparently too, there's some sportifs too. Like they had a sportif up Alpe d'Huez the same day I think that they did the women's race this year. So. It raises money for something, but so yeah, I mean they're much more integrated now, the women's races, than they used to be into the fabric of just cycling than saying. Although when we watched it in '88, though we were there, we actually saw the women's race riding the same day on the men's courses for part of the race too. So it was much more integrated then, but it kind of fell away from that. Now it's come back to that.
Right. Well, that's good to see. It's good for the women's side of the sport, and I think they're going to add more stages possibly too.
Yeah, yeah. Seems like to me, I think they said that ultimately they want to get, quite a bit longer. So
yeah. Well, how long wasn't the longest stage race for a while, the one in Idaho?
Idaho, yeah. That was like 2 weeks, I think. It was so hard that the UCI wouldn't sanction it. They're like, women can't race that hard, that far, that long, So they wouldn't sanction it for a while. So they did sanction it for a couple of years, and then they didn't sanction it, and all the major women came anyway because they're like, this is the best race in the world. And UCI looked really stupid for saying that women couldn't race that hard. Yeah. But the Ore-Ida Classic, I think it's called the Ore-Ida Classic, and it was major racing. And the U.S. women were some of the strongest women in the world at that point too. So they were all going to be there anyway, and so. All the best Europeans wanted to come over and race the best races, and the U.S. women were not dominating, but they were certainly one of the strongest countries in the world at the time. So it was huge.
Right. Well, let's move on to, I kind of missed it, but the end of the Olympics that Jennifer Valente, you were just telling me before, because I said, I hadn't followed that when I was traveling, that the Omnium was, of course,
She,
her defending champion, and I know Lotto Kopecky was going to do the Omnium, right? So the
yeah,
world champion road rider,
wasn't
excellent
close.
cyclist.
I think
But
she was
Jennifer,
fourth. I think Kopecky was fourth or something like that, but a Polish woman ended up being second because it comes down to now the way they've done it. They give so many more credits to the points race at the end.
race,
So,
right? Yeah.
yeah. But Jennifer Valente was first or second in the first 3 races. She won 2 of them, was second in the other one. So she had a commanding lead coming into it.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So, but she did have to be careful because you can lose everything quickly in the points race. Like if you get lapped twice. So Jennifer took 1 lap, where a couple of riders took 2 laps. So it's 40 points. But Jennifer was very smart, and she said she was aggressive at the beginning, knowing that anything could happen. And she, took a lap half, 3/4 of the way through just to be safe, because she just really needed to have that lap so that she didn't get surprised by anything. And she only won by like 13 points. I think it wasn't, like 40, 50 point win, but she just was in command. She was in control. And now the question is she going to retire? Because she's been dodging the question, but the coach who's retiring, he said she's retiring. So, yeah, so it's a little question because people are like, we're going to keep the band together, like in the team pursuit for the 28 Olympics, because all the rest of that team is going to continue till 28. But Valente, she's,
yeah, she finished with 144 points to Daria Pikulik had 131, so it's 13 points. Yeah. And then Ali Wollaston was next with 125. A lot of Kopecky then 116. So, yeah. But she's when she's racing in the points race, she knows exactly where she is. And do they use radios or how do they?
No, they're posted on no, they don't have radios, but they're posted on the board. Yeah, you can look and see, and you kind of know. I mean, you have to be careful because if someone does take a lap, so actually the U.S. got 4th in the Madison too. So Lily Williams and Jennifer Valente did the Madison, and they got 4th, which is pretty good. And they were in it the whole way, and then the team started taking laps, and they didn't latch on. And Great Britain was probably the strongest team, but got caught out on some lap taking, and so they ended up in second. But the U.S. team was very active and really great. And that's one thing too. People are saying, the next step for them would be now to medal in the next Olympics too. And Lily's, I think full on in for 4 more years. But again, if Jennifer stops, then she has to find a partner.
She's not that old though, I didn't think.
Valente?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, 28? Is she?
Yeah, but I mean,
she could easily
commitment.
She easily could. Yeah, she's not like, in her mid 30s or anything. So, Jennifer Valente, let's see how old she is. But and like I said, she hedged on it. She's 29. Oh, it was pretty good. 1 year old. Yeah. So, yeah. And like I said, the only person that said she's retiring is the coach, the Aussie coach.
But it seems like since it's in Los Angeles in the United States, that would be a pretty big goal to still race if you're the best for one more Olympics in Los Angeles. So
right. So even at that point, so she'll be 33, and she may be losing a little bit, and it may be hard for her to be a 3-time champion, which would be amazing in something like the Omnium. Although Armstrong did it in the time trial, but you couldn't do this.
You have to sprint more.
And you have to stay in the game. Like the time trialing, I think Kristen Armstrong could take time off. Like she took like almost 2 years off between her second and third Olympic one, and then she could train specifically for it in isolation, not go around the world racing, and still come back and win the time trial. But to be good at the Omnium, you got to stay sharp. You got to be racing. You got to know who your competition is, how they race. Like you were saying, how do you even know where people are placed? And a lot of it's because you know how people race, and this Polish woman, and I mean they don't know her name obviously, but she gets points late. She's really good at having endurance and being strong at the end. So I need to watch her in that situation. So they have to know all that kind of stuff. Sure. So it's much harder to take any time off.
Yeah, I mean it just shows Lotto Kopecky, world champion.
Riding
super strong.
Yeah.
She got 4th.
Yep. And she's former world champion in the Omnium too. So
so she hadn't probably been doing that many track events to be sharp, like you said. And
maybe not as much. Yeah. And Jennifer Valente has been focused on the track for multiple years now. I mean, again, she's defending world champion. She's defending Olympic champion. She's at the peak, and she's earned more medals.
More cycling medal, Olympic cycling medals than anyone. Yeah.
Anyone, male or female, for America. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
All right. Hats off to her.
Yeah, because we think about Sarah Hammer and even Chloe Dygert and people that were very good for a long time. But she's blended it well. She's Sarah Hammer was mostly pursuit and stuff too. So individual back then and team pursuits, that kind of stuff too. But Jennifer does team pursuits. And then the Omnium,
and the Madison too, yeah.
And the Madison, yeah, she's
man, they're one place away from another medal. She would have added to her record number.
She's impressive and very versatile and so yeah. I hope she does. I mean, I think just selfishly, so all the medals, they won 6 medals, so all won by one. So
So the next 4 years, just keep traveling around the world and having to train a lot because we want to see you.
We want to see it.
See it again. And don't worry about if you have a boyfriend or a husband or want to have children or.
Yeah. She races for 2024 too, so it's like not the biggest team in the world. Nicola Kramer.
They'll be changing their name soon, won't they?
They have. They've been since 20. They were like
2012, 2016. 20,
yeah.
That'll
Exactly.
be 2028. Hopefully they'll continue. I mean, that's a good program then to have.
Yeah, Nicola Kramer, I think that's the name. She's been very good about getting. She's the director, team director, or the owner. So now it's Virginia's Blue Ridge. Somehow they've got, because she lives in Virginia, and she's I saw someone the other day too with a 2024 jersey on, like a Masters rider, and I'm like, I wonder if he's somehow associated with the team or something too. Because I mean they meshed together sponsorship to be able to support the future Olympians and stuff too. It was the original program. They want to support Olympians and people are coming up through the system and the program and stuff too. So yeah, it's a very selfless organization, I think, to help people get their dreams and be good. So
all right,
So
all right, well let's maybe switch over to the men. You said you were watching all those other races, Tour de Avenir. I don't think we'll focus on that as much right now. Well, we got some strong Americans racing there.
Hopefully, Hopefully we hope that we see some good results. I don't think anybody's going to be overall. And a Canadian won the opening time trial, so that was good too. Williams, is that his name? Williams. And then today the European U23 national U23 European champion won. So from a break,
Michael Leonard.
And they said Canadian. That Leonard, yeah.
But the guy over Joseph Blackmore, who's been really good this year too.
Yeah,
for Great Britain. Yeah.
The guy who won today, I should look it up real quick. But he the break went off, and no one chased it. And they said part of it was because everybody brought climbers, not sprinters. So there was no one. Yeah, there was no one really, no teams, because they stayed off forever, and it was like a weird kind of situation. So Henrik Peterson won, and it was a 3-up sprint, and the guy T-Rex from Belgium.
T-Rex, yeah, he's good. T-Rex. Oh yeah, well they've got the jerseys now at the Vuelta.
Yes, which they got fined for apparently, but yeah, apparently that's part of Quick Step's brand or something like that too. So it's
to get him to get on their team.
I don't know who he signed with or not. He's
Wanty.
Galore. Oh yeah.
Oh no, Wanty Ruiz.
Oh yeah.
The Continental team.
Yeah.
Must be their Continental. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
But it's interesting to see because some of these guys now are racing on World Tour teams, but they're young enough to still be in this. So the guy who
like
got second place today is a Slovenian rider. So Galore, and he's on UAE Emirates development program. So he rode as a last year for the Continental team, and was a stagiaire on the World Tour team, and now he's in the Continental team.
Yeah. Well, Matthew Riccatello last year racing for Israel Premier Tech, which isn't World Tour, but they do most of the World Tour schedule.
Yes.
Was leading until Isaac Del Toro. We just didn't know about him at all until last year, and now look at him, and he's over there at the Vuelta. So we're all kind of curious to see how he's going to fare in this Grand
He's
Tour.
had a good year too in general.
Yeah,
So
very solid. Yeah.
yeah, yep. Yeah, the guy won today too, Henrik Peterson. He's signed through 2027 with UnoX Mobility. So, and they're not a World Tour team either, but they're
Racing
pro,
the calendar.
Yeah, they're pro road tour. So it's like they're that half step in between Continental teams and a World Tour team. So
sure. Well, I just was kind of seeing the results too of the Tour of Denmark. That I don't know, the lead won the overall.
Oh, did he win the overall?
Yeah.
Oh, he was on my tour fantasy team. He didn't quite give me the points I thought he was going to give me.
Me too. Yeah. Yeah. No, he won the general classification. 1 second over Magnus Kort.
Magnus Kort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he won the Tour of Denmark over a couple of Danish riders.
Which has got to be quite the poke in the side for the Danish riders. So.
Tour of Poland, though, I was curious about that because I didn't see the stage where Vingegaard took the lead. I saw he was leading a general classification. I was looking back, like, when did he get that lead? And there must have not been really any big decisive stages in where any big climbs. I mean, the time trial he did well. He didn't win,
but he didn't take the lead though in the time trial.
No.
So yeah, I think there was one stage that was it's tough because how long? Any stages? 8 stages?
8 stages, yeah.
7 stages, yeah. But one stage, I think it was all on the one stage. I'll look and see which one it is real quick. Tim Miller, who was having a fantastic season, but he won 2 stages, I think. Right?
Yeah, Olaf Koy was, but maybe the fastest sprinter.
Thibaut Nice, nice.
Nice.
He won the first and last stage, I think. Or first and
Just
second.
2? Okay, he won a couple. I thought maybe he won 3, but Tim Wellens beat Jonas in the time trial. It wasn't that long a one, but about 9-10 seconds. So Magnus Sheffield was 7th in that time trial.
Sheffield ended up 5th overall, I think. So, yeah, I'm looking real quick to see what's.
I know. I had to go back and check like every stage. Like, where did he gain that time? Because it wasn't like one stage where he was like dominant. A big climb where he got all the time. Yeah. So.
No, he got second place in the time trial, and that was.
And then he took the lead the next day.
Because
in stage 3.
Yeah.
But he just was but he only finished.
There's a group
in the front group.
Yeah, there were 21 people there.
Yeah.
So
his time trial and then finishing in that stronger group, and that was it. Yeah.
Sheffield rode strongly too. He was a couple spots ahead of a couple of Jonas in that stage too. So
nice won that stage. Yeah.
So it was weird that he got the win. Kind of, I guess it shows the quality he is. Even because it seemed like everybody's like he was tired. Remco actually finished behind him in the tour and ended up winning double in the Olympics. Where Jonas seemed like he took a little time. And he had a much rougher run up into the tour too.
Yeah. It did. Yeah, no racing before. Thibaut Nice got 3 stages.
He
won the 1st, 3rd, and 6th. Yeah. Man, he's won a lot this year.
Yeah, right? I want to say like 14 wins, something like that.
21 years old.
He's gonna surpass his dad, I think. And I mean, maybe not as a cyclocross racer, but as a road racer. He signed through 226 with Little Trek too, so I think. His dad still works for Trek too, so
he won 2 stages at stage of the Tour of Norway, 2 stages at the Tour of Hungary, a stage at Tour of Romandy, stage at Tour de Suisse, 3 stages here at the Tour of Poland, and then the overall at Tour of Hungary. So
yeah, it's a solid,
a
solid season. Winning from April to now,
the 21-year-old too.
Yeah,
crazy. All right,
he can't race the cyclocross season. So he had cyclocross season, very short break, and then he did Tour of Romandy, which was in April. So he only had a short break, and he won a stage there. So
very impressive.
Yeah.
All right. What else was there? I guess we talk about the Vuelta, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I think, I mean, you were there.
I was there for in Lisbon. It started out in Portugal. Actually, it's pretty interesting. It's the 5th time now in the history of the Vuelta to start outside of Spain.
Oh, that's it.
2 times they started in the Netherlands in 2009 and 2022, and I went to both of those stages, and now I've been to Lisbon. So 3 out of the 5 times they started outside of Spain, I've seen them.
Yeah.
I think I've only seen 1 time in Spain.
In Spain. Yeah.
No, twice. No, last year Barcelona I was there. So twice in Spain. So 3 times outside and only 2 times in Spain. But yeah. The 12-kilometer opening time trial, it was set along.
Too long to be a prologue, so it's a time trial.
And I knew it was going to be warm. I don't think that would have been too huge of a factor for that length of a time trial. It was mostly flat. It was going to be power, but it was windy. The wind was whipping.
Yeah, I heard that.
And it was supposed to get a little bit windier as it got later, and Sepp was one of the last riders to go. But Brandon Manoli was second to last, but he's, I don't know how many more kilos he has than Sepp, but definitely enough of them out. Yeah. So, and Wout van Aert was also right there at the end going off. So he's
and that paid dividends, not getting the win, but still being in the mix, because then took over the red yesterday, getting second, and then solidified it today, getting the win. So
but it was just amazing that Brandon won, because his name wasn't coming up so much as the favorite. I knew he'd do a good one. I mean, he was 5th in the Olympic time trial, and he was riding really well. But Josh Tarling, everybody was like really on the Josh Tarling bandwagon. I mean, he's a phenomenal time trialist, but he didn't produce the time trial I guess they thought he would.
It was like 5th or something, wasn't he? Or it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't. But yeah, I mean, yeah, right. I mean, running with Ulti, and he's running well, and he was very disappointed to not be on the podium, and he questioned how good he was.
At the
Playing was 6th in the overall at the beginning. And he was so Brandon was telling, he goes, I'm so fit, like that's the best I can do is 5th, and like he's like, I think I'm in good enough fitness to be on the podium in the Olympics, and he wasn't. And then that of course I've had it before too, where I've really targeted an event, and I came in really good shape, and then didn't do as well as I thought I was going to do. And then a week or 2 later had another event and did great in that one. So maybe that's with Brandon. He's like, his fitness was just a little bit off of being at his absolute peak, and then he hit it, on Monday or Saturday, I guess. So yeah, it was great. It was in the red. Unfortunately, only 1 day, but still, at least he was,
Oh yeah.
No,
it's pretty amazing. Yeah. It took me by surprise that he won, but yeah, really, really nice. The atmosphere was pretty good. It wasn't like, I feel like it was like super, super crowded. I didn't see the rest of the course, how they're lining it, but they took off right in front of this famous monastery, right by the famous Discovery Tower, but they stayed on the side because there's a train track, so they didn't get as close to like the famous tower, the Discovery Monument, and the Belém Tower, which they had the team presentation. So, but then I wasn't really able to get from the start to the finish, so it would have been interesting to see how the finish area was. But it was outside, so they left like right on the edge of Lisbon, and they went west away from the city. So there wasn't really like in the city, where they, like last year in Barcelona, they went right through the city and by all the famous monuments. And then the second day, they started in Cascais, where I spent a lot of June, and they didn't even start in the city there either. They started like outside. So I thought, oh, that's too bad. They didn't like showcase the town. It's a pretty busy, especially this time of year, tourist city. So I don't think it has that much traffic to block it off though. But anyway, they chose to start a little bit outside. So they had quite a bit of climbing, but it was the best chances for the sprinters, stages 2 and 3.
Yeah.
And Caden Groves got the stage 2 win. He got the green jersey last year, but Wout van Aert. So Wout was second in the time trial at stage 1, second in the second stage.
It was third in
a lot of seconds, or third in the time. That's right. It was
Matthias Vack.
Yeah. He was third, second. So he went third, second, first. Then Wout went third, second, first. Okay.
Progression.
But I don't know. I'm not a big fan of his albatross arm waving celebration. Yeah, it's kind of silly. I don't know. I don't think it's he did the Tour. I remember when he won at the Tour, and I didn't know that was going to be his signature like celebration. It's not like why not Tony Fleck pulling out the arrow, but
yeah. For one thing, it's not, for me, it's not explosive. Like when you win a race, for me, it's always like, well, I have one off the front where I've got a chance to celebrate longer, so that then you can do more. But when you win like a sprint finish, it's like, like you want to see that intensity. And doing this, it's not like a very intense kind of thing to do. So he hadn't won for 6 months. He won back in April or March, I guess. So it's been for him, for a lot of pros, they'd be like, heck, I won once already this year. This is a fantastic year. But for Wout, who is used to getting quite a few wins each year, it's been long. And he's gotten a bunch of podiums too. He hasn't quite gotten the win. So and he had a serious crash, obviously, too. So he seemed like he feels like he's back.
So. Well, I think for Visma Lease Bike, who I don't know, Sepp, he won the Tour of Burgos before, but he's going to have a tough time, I think, in this Vuelta possibly. I mean, we'll see. Tomorrow, stage 4 has a good amount of climbing and an uphill finish. We kind of see where the GC are stacking up, but there's like 10 summit finishes or 10 mountain stage areas. There's a lot, so it's definitely favoring the climbers a lot. So we'll see how he goes. But I think for Visma Lease Bike, who's had kind of a rough year for them, they put energy and effort in these stages. They lost Dylan Van Barle, who's big help. In the first stage, the second stage. But so they can. I guess they know they're going to come away with a stage win in the Jersey a couple of days. So we'll see what happens. I'd
be surprised. Wasn't there. So tomorrow they always say it's one of those stages where you're not going to win it, but you can lose it. Because and there's a Cat 2, then a Cat 1 early on, then a big valley, then a 3, and then a 1 at the finish. But it's really a 2-step climb, so it's 2 different climbs that should be you could combine them. So I mean, we'll find out people who aren't in shape, or who are just not going to contend.
Right.
And then we don't know who's of the people who finished well tomorrow will fade later on. But if someone's not there, if Sepp's not there, or Bobek or somebody's not there, then it's going to be really hard for them to claw back enough time, especially if there's multiple people that are gaining time on that day. So it's an important day for sure. But there'll be more important days as we get into it for sure. But if it'll be a good indication, and we know Sepp's in good shape because he just won Burgos. So
for sure,
I'd be very surprised. And
but the competition there wasn't that big. So
I think the competition is better here than the Giro, but nowhere near as the Tour.
Right.
But Tadej didn't really have. I mean, I think they said that not one of the top 20 UCI people were in the Giro besides Tadej.
Right. So Danny Martinez, who finished second in the Giro, is here, but he was racing for Roglic. So I think I'm most curious to see what happens with UAE, because they've got multiple guys that could be up there with João Almeida, Adam Yates, and Brandon McNulty.
And McNulty says he's not
supporting them. So I want to see how is he riding tomorrow. That's what I'm really curious about.
I think he's super fit, and if he doesn't try to be there tomorrow, that's a mistake.
Well, for sure. Yeah. I mean, if he's got good legs, he needs to stay up there, and they need to keep him as an option because we'll see. Because he's fresh. He's fresh too. I mean, the 3-week race, Yates and João Almeida, they could wear down or be tired later on.
Yeah, I think that McNulty's a proven stage race, performer too. So it's not like is a young guy who just is maybe a flash in the pan, splash in the pan. No, he's somebody who I think that deserves. He's earned it. He's earned the support. And so maybe not Almeida or Yates should sacrifice themselves yet at this point. But
no. But did you see GCN's preview?
No.
Dan Lloyd, who did it by himself, he predicted Isaac Del Toro actually to win the overall. So he's another guy. We'll have to see how he goes. I mean, he could be right up there too.
He could.
Yeah. So it's crazy that they have so many riders that.
Right. So of the 4 potential GC riders, who's gonna? There's 4 more guys that can help him out, but it'll be interesting to see. I was trying to think too.
Then they have Pavel Sivakov to support, and
Yeah,
Mark Solar,
super,
Solar, which is Spanish rider, so they want to do good there. Yeah.
It's a super team. Yeah, I won't be able to see it live tomorrow either. I have an appointment in the morning, and then so yeah. So but yeah, in some ways it's better almost too, so you can kind of see if it's worth watching. If it ends up being a dull stage, you just watch the final climb. But if it was like super exciting, then you're gonna want to watch the whole, rewatch the whole thing. So yeah,
it's gonna be a good one for sure.
And then after that we got the World Championships too. So it's like it's one after the other here for I was thinking it's too bad for other Olympic sports where now they're big letdown after the Olympics getting on TV and seeing everything, and now you can't, like, I don't know, as far as I know you can't go watch the next gymnastics meet, and is the Simone Biles going to be doing some other huge UCI Cup
or the swimming races or the next marathon or lots of
marathon maybe, but like Chicago's coming up, October though or November, so
later on.
But for us cycling, days after the Olympics are over.
The Tour of Germany's coming up tomorrow or the next day.
Wow. Yeah.
Next day, Wednesday, and I was looking at how far it was on a train ride to get to. There's just like a 3-kilometer prologue, so not even 3 kilometers. It's like over 2-hour train ride. So I like it. But who did I see? Luke Lamperti was on the start list that I saw before.
Yeah. So he has one win, right, this year? You got one win?
I think so. Not many teams. I was seeing if there are other Americans or not. Teams rosters aren't filled out. Did you see that Ethan Hayter's leaving Ineos Grenadiers, going to Soudal Quickstep?
Yes. Yeah.
I just saw that. I hadn't seen that today. I saw.
And so Luke Lamperti did win stage 1 of the Czech Tour.
All right.
And
so there you go. Will Bard is going to be there. I'm sorry?
What's that?
Will Bard is going to be there in Germany too.
Did you see that? Yeah. So it's big news that Alaphilippe is going to go to Tour Pro Cycling. So
it is going to Tour. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was all right. Wow.
And that's a weird one too, because they're stepping up their game as well, and then you wonder, what does he have left? Is he at the end of his career and he's just going to be occasionally good, or could he get really good again?
I think. Okay, my prediction is that he'll be better than Peter Sagan was when he went to Total Energies.
Which won't be
which isn't hard to do.
Yeah. It just seemed like Sagan lost motivation. Like he was a 3-time world champion.
I think his domestic life was in shambles. That's what I think is trouble. I think he got separated from his partner. He had a child. I think he just didn't have a good. That's what my theory is. Just pure speculation that his home life wasn't as solid.
It could be.
And that
I didn't hear much about that.
Yeah. Well, I didn't hear much about it. I just knew he wasn't with his partner anymore, and I knew they had a child together, and so that's got to be hard.
Yes, for sure. In every situation.
Yeah. So I think that would be affecting his racing.
Yeah. Yeah, and Alaphilippe's wife is the director of the Tour de France Femmes, so she's very involved, but in France so too. She's a former racer herself, so for sure. That's one thing with Cavendish too. He seemed like he has great support from his wife and family and stuff too, and that kind of helped him.
Oh, that helped him make the decision. They said, "Yeah, go for it." They were okay with it. Yeah.
But living so close too. I mean, they're I think because doesn't he live in Belgium?
He can be home a lot.
You think he does?
I know Alexander Kristoff he's got several kids, and he's always, I see him on Strava always training at home, so he's home a lot.
Yeah.
He's still doing well at year 6.
Didn't Jens Voigt have like 6 kids?
6 kids, yeah.
Yeah.
The birthday list swapped. I was all ready for the earlier birthday list, but we've gone past midnight in Europe, so now we have a new birthday list for the 20th of August.
Is there anybody good we're missing now?
Iban Mayo, his birthday was on the 19th, and I was looking up because Iban Mayo, the Basque rider, won. Well, his only stage at the Tour de France was in 2003 on Alpe d'Huez, and I was there. And he won by over 2 minutes.
Wow.
So yeah, so that was a big. That was his only stage. So I was remembering. Oh yeah, I think he won there, but I didn't realize that was his only Tour de France win. So
Is it spelled like Mayo?
yeah.
Yeah. And he was young when he won that too, I think. So he's 47. And let's see. The stage in 03. Yeah, so he won in 03. That was his 4th year as a pro with Euskaltel Scotty. So yeah.
03, if he's 47 now, that was 21 years ago. So it was 26.
26. Yeah, wasn't too young, I guess. It seemed like at that point everybody thought he was going to be better than he was. I mean, he was obviously really good to win that, and he won the Dauphine, so the GC, so Dauphiné.
Dauphiné, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we ready? We need to wrap it up, right? We already started birthdays. Well, I was just curious here because I saw it's Patrick Evenepoel's birthday today.
Oh.
Patrick Evenepoel is 56, and he is indeed the father of Remco Evenepoel.
He's I knew his dad was a racer, yeah.
Yeah, he won the Circuit Franco-Belge, a stage at the Circuit Franco-Belge in 91. He was racing in 91, 92, 93.
But not the career his son's having, though, for sure.
No, not close. But top of the list now for the 20th, Dan Martin.
Dan Martin, yeah. Who's from a big cycling family. I mean, his Nico Roach is his cousin.
Yeah.
So, and they were, it seemed close. I mean, I remember.
Well, and so his uncle was Stephen Roach.
Yeah.
The last winner. The last winner before.
Giro, the Tour. And the championships all in the same year. So,
yeah.
87. Yeah. Yeah, and he's well, so yeah, his father too was a racer too, Neil Martin. So
yeah, he went stages at the Giro. I don't think he won.
He won
the stage of the Tour. Yeah.
Yeah.
In 2013, that was a good year. He
won
the Catalonia too.
Yeah. He had a kick. I mean, he came down to the
fast finisher on it. Yeah.
Yeah, really hard race. He could race well. So yeah, he had quite the accent. It's funny because Nico grew up in France because his mother was French, and I think Dan grew up in Ireland. You can tell the accents are significantly different, but they spend a lot of time together.
He had his good years too when he raced for Garmin Sharp, so U.S. based team. So that was, I guess, more exciting for us as American fans when the American based team does well, right?
Yeah, and he was with UAE before they got good, too. So 18, 19, and then he was Israel for his last couple of years. So
right.
It was he had a great career. He was a good rider and dynamic racer who raced a lot on instinct and stuff too. So it made it fun to watch.
Sam Dumoulin's birthday today, 44. A Frenchman, not related to Tom Dumoulin. No. He won. We're gonna miss out. We're waiting it all the way to the end. We're doing birthdays. I was just seeing. He was twice. He won Tro Bron Leon, and that made me remember Riley Sheehan was 4th at that race this year. And Riley also was 3rd at Frankfurt Eschborn, and he's got some, other top 5 finishes, and he's racing his first Vuelta this year.
Yeah.
And I talked to him, so we have an
interview.
I can't believe
we almost missed him.
I know. Where are our minds today? Yeah, because I sent it to you. You already heard it too. So Riley, big transition from a year ago. I mean, he won Joe Martin in 23. He was racing for the Denver Disruptors. He got the Stagiaire ride with Israel Premier Tech, and they won Paris Tours, which was just beyond amazing. Paris Tours. So so he's racing an incredible schedule this year, and he's doing his first Grand Tour. And so, I talked to him after his time trial, which he wasn't. I mean, I was saying to this time trial, really, I mean, for a race that has so much mountain, it's a 12-kilometer time trial. It's really just more for show than anything. It's not gonna. I mean, it's to win the first jersey, those guys, and then not. I mean, we were saying, okay, Sepp, who's in the picture behind you, he lost 53 seconds,
Yeah.
but Roglic was the best of the GC, 16 seconds. So we lost, 30 some seconds to Roglic. I mean, not big amounts of time. So
no, but still a
it's
chunk.
still some, yeah. But so anyway, we talked to Riley, and you had to wait all the way through this whole podcast. But good thing about podcasts and videos, you can just skip to where you want to.
So maybe people listen to more of our podcast to get to the interview.
Yeah, to get to the interview. Riley Sheehan. We didn't promise it earlier on, but I'll have it in the description that it is a Riley Sheehan interview. So, I don't know if we're going to finish with this birthday list. We usually like to look at all the Americans that are celebrating, and then just
Ian
do
McKissick and Angela Vargas,
Edison Albershard,
Thomas Soliday,
Ian McKissick. That's what you said. 44. Yeah. All right. Yeah, just a few Americans. Yeah, we talked about Dan Martin, but the end of the podcast today is a little different because we're going to finish off with our interview with Riley Sheehan. It's exciting to have any American really racing in these big races, just 4 of them in this Vuelta. And already, though, Brandon won a stage, and then Riley, he's going to be, looking to boost his overall just fitness by doing a Grand Tour. And it'll help him out. And next year, hopefully, his big goal was like he said, now you'll listen to it for this Vuelta. Yeah,
and so just do a quick 2, Matthew Riccatelli, and then Sepp Kuss, of course, the other Americans there.
Right. All right, here's Riley after his time trial in Lisbon. All right, Dean Warren with Riley Sheehan of Israel Premier Tech here in Lisbon for the start of the Vuelta a España. Riley, you've got the first stage of your first Grand Tour under the belt. Tell me a little bit about the excitement of today and just being here and doing the Vuelta a España this year.
I mean, it's incredible just to be here. The amount of lifetime achievements I've been able to, or lifetime goals of races I've been able to participate in this year has been super special. And this Vuelta has been awesome. I've been anticipating it for a while. And for it to finally be here is almost surreal. I kind of can't believe I just did the first stage and 20 to go now, I guess. But super, super happy to be here.
So how was it today? It's windy, it's hot, but it's not really a decider at all. It's kind of just a good way to break into this 3-week race, is it?
Yeah, I guess it's like a soft opening. It's pretty nice to, I don't know, I don't mind a time trial to open it up, but I think the gaps will be pretty tight. But with all the climbing that's coming up, I don't think a 12K flat time trial will be too decisive in the end of the game.
Yeah, the wind's been blowing around here. Really, did it affect you much out on the course? Did you feel it? Was it pushing around? How was it?
I think it pushed me around a bit, but I didn't mind it too much. There's kind of one gust that was okay, caught me off guard, but no, nothing too crazy. And wind is always never feeling good because the slight headwind sections never felt great, but it was a super fast time trial no matter what. And I think everyone's probably going to average over 50K an hour, so that's always a nice feeling.
All right, lots of climbing coming up, 3-week race. What's your longest stage race you've done up till now?
I think it's a Tour de l'Avenir, and that was 5 years ago when I was 19. So that was 10 days. So double that and add another day on there, and then that's this.
What are your expectations then for you personally? What are you looking to get out of this Vuelta?
I'm really looking forward to helping out Corbin Strong a bunch. We have some stages, especially this first week before the rest day, that we have our eyes on, and with maybe a bit of a harder sprint, and also just being able to be his last guy. I really look forward to doing that. And then personally, I just want to get a Grand Tour in the legs. This is super special, and especially the field we have here and the caliber, just the terrain, everything. If I can get this in the legs, I'll be giving myself a good pat on the back there for sure.
Yeah, certainly. So reaching Madrid is a big goal then, for sure, right?
Yeah, massive. That's all I hope for. So.
Yeah, well, you've already had a pretty great season, a lot of results, so I can only imagine getting a Grand Tour is going to just up that level even more for you.
Yeah, I hope so. That's what they all say, and we'll see. I'm sure.
Not to put pressure on you.
Yeah, exactly. No, but I'm sure I'll feel half of myself before I feel even better. But yeah, with the fatigue and all. But once that's all soaked in, then yeah, hopefully you'll be flying for the rest of the end of the season and then next few years.
Yeah, well, you're a quarter of the American contingent here at this race, and half of them are here with Israel Premier Tech. So you're going to represent us well, I hope.
Yeah, for sure. Super psyched too, and it's awesome to be alongside Matthew Riccatello here. And yeah, I want to help him out as well if I can. And yeah, it's pretty awesome that we get to be a teammate with another American. It's kind of foreign, and to have another American guy and just I've known him for a while, it's great. And yeah, it's cool to have somebody that came up with juniors as well, and you know, show that all the development stuff we were part of works, and hopefully people can get inspired to keep that going on in the U.S.
Yeah, for sure. Well, if you can go from Denver Disruptors one year to riding a Grand Tour the next, that's a great inspiration, I think.
Yeah, I hope so. I still can't believe it, but kind of think it's hilarious. But no,
it's
super
possible.
psyched. Yeah, it is possible.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, it's possible.
All right. Well, thanks. Congratulations on getting the first stage done, and look forward to following you the rest of the tour.
Right on. Thank you.
It was so windy. I was hoping that it wasn't going to be too windy in the interview, but it just a little bit of wind noise, not too bad.
Yeah. Well, thanks for going over there and going all the way to Spain to get the interview for us. So it's good.
Yeah. I had to wait around to get it for him too, because since they were starting and finishing two different places, I don't know if they were going to try to ride back, but then they wouldn't give them. It was open. It wasn't set up so they could ride back, so they had to come back in cars. But I hardly saw any riders come back to the start then. So I don't know where they went. All their buses were at the start. Yeah. I mean, eventually I saw when Matthew Riccatelli and some other teammates were leaving to go to the hotel, I guess, before even it was over. And so I didn't get a chance to talk to him because I didn't know he was still there. And the PR person said, time trial day is tough to talk to him, you know. It's not the best. Anyway, but Riley, I saw him warming up. He was right there. And so I asked him, and he said, yeah, I'll talk to you afterwards. So I had to hang around a while until he got back and showered. And so I was glad to get to talk to him. But yeah, it was also is interesting, like we're going to extend this a little bit here. The Visma Lisa bike, they have their big tent all set up with cooling devices to help keep the riders out. And UAE didn't seem to have as much set up. Ineos had some gear set up. UAE did some, but towards the end, it seemed like they were breaking down the stuff. Like when Brandy was warming up, you know, they'd already taken away some stuff, and
he won.
Yeah, and then he won. And like Riley, I was joking though too when he was warming up, because he's got his ice on. I said, "Well, you're trying to stay cool while you're warming up," so it's kind of funny. But yeah,
warming up the legs, not the core.
Yeah. All right, Andy. All right, great to catch up with you, and yeah, we'll see how this Vuelta goes. It's gonna be, I think it's gonna be pretty exciting. But
I think so too.
Yeah. All right. We'll talk to you later. All right. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.